As the supreme demon lord of this world, he is gravely wounded and on the brink of death, with only 3 days left to live. Not only is he currently being besieged by tens of thousands of experts from the righteous faction, but even his 9 most loyal disciples, whom he had painstakingly nurtured, are plotting to betray him and annihilate his sect. The eldest disciple, Yuzong Hai, after departing the sect, established the Netherworld sect, proclaiming it the foremost demonic sect. The second disciple, Yuzong Grong, has become a notorious sword demon, whose name alone sends shivers down the spine of all who hear it. He relishes in bloodshed, readily slaughtering at the slightest provocation. The sixth disciple, Yitiangsin, is the adored princess of the Inyu Palace, revered by numerous female cultivators. Known as the Fairy Shura, the seventh disciple, Suya, controls an intelligence network that spans the entire world. He once sparked a devastating war through his tactics of discord, leading to countless casualties. The eighth disciple, Zhu Hong Hong, ascended to the title of Evil King in a matter of years after leaving the sect. The ninth disciple, Suyaner, was the last to join, still clinging to some semblance of conscience. Lu Zhou slowly opened his eyes, and fragmented images flooded his mind. In his past life, he had been a high-ranking executive, but now, he had transmigrated into the body of the demon Lord Ji Tiandao. Through the memories of his new identity, he learned that a month ago, the top 10 experts of the righteous path had set a trap surrounding Ji Tiandao. The demon lord had fought them alone, resulting in a stalemate and severe injuries. Now, the righteous path experts were at his doorstep, preparing to launch a decisive assault on his stronghold. Unfortunately, he had lived for nearly 1,000 years, close to the natural limit of a cultivator's lifespan. As he aged, his power to instill fear had significantly waned. 5 of his 9 disciples had already betrayed him, greatly undermining his authority. Lu Zhou couldn't help but smile bitterly as he pondered his predicament. His body was terribly weak, and just as he tried to rise, he collapsed back down. The disciples outside the pavilion, seeing their master in such a state, rushed to his side. The fourth disciple, Ming Shirin, reported that it wouldn't be long before the righteous experts broke through their defensive barriers. The third disciple, Duan Mushang, frowned and suggested seeking help from the eldest senior brother. Given their bond as master and disciple, he felt it would be wrong to abandon him. The fifth disciple, Zhao Yu, also proposed reaching out to the seventh junior disciple, given his cunning. However, Lu Zhou interrupted, reminding them that the barrier of Jingting Mountain was still strong enough to hold off the enemy for a while. Although he was deeply anxious, he forced himself to stay calm, scolding them for even considering such options. He couldn't reveal the truth of his scattered cultivation. If he did, these 4 disciples would likely turn on him before the righteous path could strike the final blow. "Disperse now," he commanded. "I have my own plans to handle the enemy." The 4 disciples, sensing their master's authority, left immediately. Finally, Lu Zhou let out a long, relieved sigh. He had no real plan to deal with the enemy. He simply craved some peace and quiet amidst the chaos. With these 4 ungrateful disciples at his side, and the army of righteous cultivators outside, along with his own frail body, despair threatened to overwhelm him. Just as he was cursing his fate, he suddenly heard the system's voice. "Host has completed the task. Mission to pass on teachings and inheritances successfully concluded after 1,000 years. Merit system now activated." At this, Lu Zhou's heart skipped a beat. He immediately understood why Ji Tiandao had invested so much in training 9 disciples. What a tragic irony was spending a lifetime building a legacy, only for others to reap the benefits. The system's prompt continued. Main quest, retreat from the enemy detected. Host's current weakness identified. Rewarding with a newbie gift package. Would you like to open it? Lu Zhou, feeling a spark of hope, agreed. He received a reversal card, which could restore a portion of his vitality. He also obtained 3 peak state cards, each capable of granting him 30 minutes of Ji Tiandao's peak strength, and 5 fatal block cards, which passively blocked 5 fatal strikes. Without wasting time, Lu Zhou took out the reversal card and focused his mind. In an instant, the vitality from the surrounding trees and vegetation surged into his body, replenishing his strength. At that moment, the third disciple, witnessing the overwhelming energy, exclaimed, "Such immense power! Master surely has even greater abilities we've never seen." Little Nine, observing the energy fluctuations, looked bewildered. How could I possibly know? His former self is beyond comprehension. Meanwhile, the voice of a righteous cultivator rang out from beyond the barrier. "Come out and face your death, those inside." It was Zhou Jifang, a senior disciple from the Heavenly Sword sect. Rumor had it that he had recently stepped into the Divine Court realm, though still in its infancy. Even in a one-on-one fight, he would hardly be a worthy opponent for my little martial sister. Unfortunately, strength in numbers is on their side. While these individuals are not much of a threat, the 10 great experts are the real trouble. But if we speak of rebellion, who can stop the 4 of us if we wish to escape? Upon hearing this, Ciu Honor became visibly frustrated. "Senior martial brothers and sisters, have you never thought of standing with our master?" Xiao Yu replied dismissively, "Little martial sister, you joined too late, and there are many things you don't understand." Meanwhile, Lu Zhou had been quietly studying the system for some time. After using the reversal card, he felt vitality surge through him. His remaining lifespan was extended to 313 days, but to him, this was still insufficient. He needed to restore his youth. This aging body was far too uncomfortable. After a moment of contemplation, he slowly stood and walked out of the pavilion. A deep rumble echoed as Jingting Mountain trembled. The 4 disciples instantly appeared before him, surprised to see Lu Zhou standing tall. Duan Musheng, standing beside them, spoke up. "Master, your disciples request a battle. We'll undoubtedly wipe them out without leaving a trace." Lu Zhou's gaze sharpened at his words. Duan Musheng involuntarily flinched under that gaze and lowered his head. "I already have a plan to retreat from the enemy. Come with me outside to face them together." With that, Lu Zhou strode toward the edge of the formation. At this moment, Jingting Mountain had gathered thousands of righteous cultivators preparing to launch their attack on the defensive formation. The leaders of these righteous individuals called out, "You are surrounded. Come out and meet your doom." Their provocative words echoed through the air. Lu Zhou stopped just before the barrier, watching the cultivators outside with a calm, collected demeanor. The 4 disciples, including Ming Shirin, felt a sudden jolt in their hearts upon witnessing this scene. "Why isn't he moving forward?" Ming Shirin muttered. From the sky, Luo Changfeng, the leader of the Heavenly Sword sect, laughed heartily. "It's been a month, but it seems the old devil ancestor has become younger." Lu Zhou forcefully suppressed his emotions and replied coldly, "Luo Changfeng, you've got some nerve. Stop pretending and surrender now. The righteous sects of this world will leave you with a complete corpse." Below them, Zhou Jifang shouted, "You 4 must be this old man's disciples, right? I'll give you the chance to repent and join the righteous path." "Help us! The righteous path! Kill him!" Ming Shirin sneered and glanced disdainfully at him. "Enough with the nonsense. Master, your disciples request a battle. I can't wait any longer to strip the skin off this arrogant brat." Lu Zhou raised his hand, signaling them to stop. "No need. How could the esteemed righteous sect grant you a one-on-one duel?" Seeing they remained unmoved, Luo Changfeng, still in the sky, continued his taunts. "Who doesn't know the 9 evildoers of Jingting Mountain have committed countless atrocities? You all deserve to be punished. Today, the righteous experts of the world join forces to crusade against you. It's your own fault. You evildoers can only blame yourselves." Lu Zhou's voice turned stern as he retorted, "Whether you call it righteous or evil, I have my own judgments. Even if my disciples make mistakes, I punish them personally. It's not for you to meddle with or point fingers." Luo Changfeng erupted into laughter. "Old fool. You have quite a sense of humor. 30,000 cultivators died in Rongbei. Wasn't that Suye's doing? Since you admit it, then it's clear. Your teachings lacks the laziness of the master. Do you have anything else to say?" At this point, Lu Zhou's gaze burned with intensity as he answered, "Those who are not of our kin do not share the same motives. The people of the western regions are not our kin. and neither are those from Rongbai. To hell with your pity and mercy for these foreign regions." Luo Changfeng's face flushed red with anger, his words lost in fury. He no longer argued, his voice dripping with contempt. "Old devil, let's see how long you can keep pretending. Take this!" Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou stepped confidently out of the barrier. "Very well, let me witness your skills." His disciples, standing behind him, secretly rejoiced at the opportunity to let these righteous cultivators test their master's hidden trump cards. Luo Changfeng then blinked, and in the blink of an eye, the swords around his body multiplied and began spinning in mid-air. They finally converged into a massive sword. Though Lu Zhou appeared calm on the surface, internally, he was anxious. His eyes kept darting to the item cards on his panel, and he could sense the growing suspicion among these four evildoers. Triggering side quest, people's hearts are revealed by their actions. Let the evildoers show their true colors. At that moment, the power of Luo Changfeng's giant sword was fully formed, and with a loud shout, he pointed it toward Lu Zhou's group. "Face your death," he yelled. Duan Musheng and Zhao Yu's faces darkened. They both knew that the old man must not die here. If he did, the techniques and weapons they relied on would disappear with him. Just as the giant sword was about to strike, the two of them, having made up their minds, simultaneously attacked the sword. The gust created by their strikes deflected the sword's edge, causing it to hit the barrier instead. Lu Zhou, embarrassed, immediately turned and rushed back into the barrier, his pride wounded. Seeing this, countless cultivators burst into laughter. Luo Changfeng, hovering above, taunted, "So this is your skill? Truly impressive." The leader of the Xinyi sect joined in, sneering. The patriarch of villains actually needs his disciples to protect him. How remarkable. Lu Zhou, unperturbed by their mockery, paid them no mind. Instead, he focused on the peak experience card once more. "Combining 3 peak experience cards gives me an hour and a half." In other words, once he used them, the battle needed to be over quickly. But before dealing with the external enemy, he had to handle the internal issues. If these evildoers didn't fall in line, once his time ran out, he would be back to square one. His voice, despite himself, grew louder. "Duan Musheng, how dare you? Who gave you permission to interfere with my affairs?" Duan Musheng's face changed at his words. He quickly approached and knelt, expressing deep concern for his master's safety. At this moment, Ming Shirin chuckled lightly. "Master, there's no need for this. You've acted tirelessly. This should be enough. Brother, please, get up." Upon hearing her words, Duan Musheng's respectful expression faded. Slowly, he stood, his demeanor shifting. The evildoers had already guessed, based on Lu Zhou's earlier embarrassed display, that he was barely holding on. "Master, give up," Ming Shirin said, a hint of malice in her voice. "As long as you pass on the techniques and weapons to us intact, we will do our best to help you escape today." Lu Zhou remained silent, his gaze unreadable. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "Little Nine, what about you?" "Master, your disciple dares not," Xianer said, immediately dropping to his knees with a loud thud. Secondary quest completed. Reward, True Eye of Reality. Effect, permanent. The prompt caught Lu Zhou off guard, and a special message flashed before him. Xianer's loyalty, 60% and increasing. Ming Shirin's loyalty, 15%. Duan Musheng's loyalty, 23%. Zhao Yu's loyalty, 35%. If loyalty falls below 0, they will defect and become enemies. If it exceeds 80, they are unlikely to defect. Lu Zhou noticed the steadily decreasing loyalty of the 3 evildoers, but the rising loyalty of Su Yaner came as a surprise. His thoughts turned inward. Intentionally, Lu Zhou spoke. "Since that's the case, there's no need for me to keep pretending. Indeed, I have been injured. But that doesn't mean you can defy me." With those words, he crushed the peak experience card in his hand. In an instant, a powerful surge of energy erupted from him, knocking the 3 disciples back. Blood sprayed from their mouths as they were sent flying. Only Suyana remained, wide-eyed, unable to comprehend the scene unfolding before him. It felt as if the entire world had frozen in place. The moment the other 3 hit the ground, they scrambled to roll and kneel, shouting in unison, "We know our mistakes, Master." Lu Zhou didn't even glance at them. He took a deep breath and muttered to himself, "The feeling of being in peak state is truly wonderful." In that moment, everything around him felt like it was within his grasp. The cultivators before him were insignificant ants. One flick of his finger, and he could crush them all. Energy surged from him, soaring into the sky as the barrier around Jingting Mountain shattered entirely. The top 10 righteous experts watched, dumbstruck, their eyes filled with disbelief. Wasn't he injured? How could he possibly unleash such a powerful surge of energy? The cultivators who had mocked him earlier couldn't stop their legs from trembling. The three evildoers, realizing their mistake, fell to the ground in a panic, quickly kneeling and shouting in unison. Admitting their wrongdoing, the three disciples knelt before Lu Zhou, their heads bowed in submission. Lu Zhou coldly stared at them. "Disobeying your master," he thought. Such behavior warrants severe punishment. With a swift motion, golden light erupted from his fingertips. A loud crash echoed as the three disciples were sent hurtling into a distant mountain peak. "I'll deal with you later," Lu Zhou muttered, observing the timer on his panel. 29 minutes remaining. Teaching these three evildoers a lesson was merely a moment's work. Soon, he would be facing the thousands of cultivators and the top 10 righteous experts. "Let me see how much progress you've made in the past month," he mused as his voice echoed across the battlefield. With a deep breath, Lu Zhou gathered his strength and soared into the air. 100 tribulations of the underworld Dharma body. With a thunderous shout, a golden halo surrounded his manifested Dharma body. Below, the 8-leaf golden lotus spun, releasing powerful gusts of energy with each rotation. Seeing this, Luo Changfeng immediately signaled other experts to converge and block it together. Within moments, the 10 interconnected Dharma bodies formed a massive wall in the center of the battlefield. The area within 100 miles was illuminated by their combined radiance. Cultivators scrambled to retreat, seeking shelter behind the towering Dharma bodies. However, some weaker individuals were caught off guard and suffered heavy injuries due to their delayed retreat. Lu Zhou, watching this unfold, snorted coldly. "You like using swords," he thought. "Then I'll use a sword too." "Imperfect heaven's favor," he declared, and in a flash, a dazzling long sword formed between his index and middle fingers. Duan Musheng, still lying on the ground, instinctively raised his head. A shiver ran down his spine as he recognized the technique. This was the Heavenly Oneness technique, one of the most powerful moves in existence. For years he had been practicing swordsmanship, striving to master this technique. But Jitian Dao had always withheld the final form from him. Never in his wildest dreams did he imagine encountering it in this situation. In that moment, the three disciples realized how gravely they had misjudged their master. Not only could he effortlessly manifest the Dharma body, but he was also capable of wielding the imperfect heaven's favor. Even more terrifying was the fact that the power of the imperfect heaven's favor was amplified under the influence of the Dharma body. Luo Changfeng, realizing the gravity of the situation, quickly ordered the experts to retreat. If they didn't, all 10 would suffer severe injuries. He had never expected that this old devil would be stronger than ever. Lu Zhou hovered in front of the Dharma body, as if they had merged into one. With his sword raised, he unleashed a powerful sword light, slashing down upon the crowd. Weak cultivators who couldn't dodge in time were cleaved in half. A deafening rumble echoed as mountains, rivers, and lakes were split apart by the force of the sword wave. The top 10 righteous experts, already prepared, had moved aside long before the attack. They had believed that, although the old demon could use the Dharma body to contend with 10 opponents, he couldn't possibly unleash other formidable techniques. But now, Lu Zhou was unleashing his ultimate move, and his expression was relaxed. Too relaxed. A deep sense of dread settled within the righteous experts. Despite the overwhelming power before them, Lu Zhou remained calm, as if he were toying with them. He was effortlessly executing his most powerful moves, his body constantly replenishing itself, thanks to the peak experience card. Every time he expended energy, his strength returned to its peak. The imperfect heaven's favor had claimed the lives of hundreds, and the remaining cultivators, whether weak or strong, were scattered in panic. Lu Zhou didn't pursue them. His focus was on the top 10 righteous experts. "You want to run?" he called, his voice cold. "Unfortunately, you're too slow." Before the words had fully left his mouth, he disappeared in an instant, his figure flashing like lightning. In mid-air, only the afterimage of his movement remained. The evildoers, witnessing this, were left dumbfounded. This is the divine technique Blink, they realized. Blink allows one to travel to a distant location at lightning speed, an excellent method for both pursuit and escape. But it consumes an immense amount of vitality. It's over, third junior brother, Suanor whispered. We should escape quickly. Master keeps using these powerful moves one after another. I never expected him to be able to wield such an ultimate move. Clearly, he's hiding even greater strength. Why did he deceive us like this? Senior brother, senior sister, Suanor urged, his voice desperate. Listen to me. Stay here. Master possesses a divine technique. We won't be able to escape. The three evildoers were struck with despair as they realized the truth of Suanor's words. Meanwhile, Luo Changfeng, riding the wind, swiftly maneuvered through the forest, looking back from time to time. He saw no one pursuing him. Letting out a relieved sigh, he thought he had escaped. But at that moment, a chilling sensation crept up his spine, followed by a familiar voice. I've been waiting for you for quite a while. Luo Changfeng froze and turned around, only to see Lu Zhou standing calmly behind him. How is it that you've only arrived now? Lu Zhou chuckled softly as he took in the other man's disheveled state. What happened to that arrogant demeanor you had earlier? Cold sweat instantly drenched Luo Changfeng's back, misery flooding his heart as he thought bitterly that the old monster wasn't chasing anyone else but him. Forcing himself to remain composed, he suppressed his fear and said hoarsely, You've already used up so much of your power. If you continue like this, you'll only exhaust yourself. Yet before his words could settle, Lu Zhou once again manifested his Dharma body. I only know one ultimate move, he said indifferently. And with a single thought, the colossal Dharma body expanded, blotting out the sky as it pressed down with overwhelming force. In the cultivation world, only a handful could comprehend the 100 tribulations Dharma, and those who could cultivate it to the level of the 8-leaf golden lotus were rarer still. Under that terrifying pressure, Luo Changfeng had no power to resist, coughing up blood as his internal organs were shattered and fear consumed him completely. What kind of monster used ultimate moves endlessly? A thunderous boom echoed as the earth trembled, and the massive Dharma body, carried by raging winds, crashed down like a divine mountain. When the dust settled, Luo Changfeng was gone, reduced to ashes without leaving even a trace. After eliminating the formidable enemy, Lu Zhou glanced at the remaining time and saw that only a few minutes were left. There was no time to pursue the others, for he still had to deal with those scoundrels. And once the effect of the peak experience card ended, the consequences would be disastrous. With the preliminary objective complete, the next mission appeared clearly in his mind. Punish the three evildoers and raise disciple Suanor's loyalty above 80%. And without delay, Lu Zhou activated his divine movement technique and returned swiftly to Jingting Mountain. The moment his feet touched the ground, the peak experience state faded, the overwhelming power within his body dissipating like a receding tide and leaving behind a faint sense of loss. This kind of power was truly intoxicating, and he wondered how long it would take to reach such a realm through his own cultivation, resolving to remain cautious and not let anyone see through him. He slowly approached the three evildoers, who were kneeling on the ground and trembling uncontrollably, as their loyalty values recovered slightly but remained far from satisfactory, then ignored them and turned his gaze to his youngest disciple. I'm tired, he said calmly. Help me back. Little Nine immediately responded with joy, hurrying over to support his master as they left, while behind them Duan Musheng complained bitterly to Old Four that he had caused endless trouble, only to be met with a frustrated retort about miscalculation and certainty of the master's injury, prompting Duan Musheng to scoff that perhaps the master had simply grown tired of old tricks, and that escape was impossible after witnessing such terrifying power. Meanwhile, inside the mountain pavilion, Lu Zhou calmly took a sip of tea and said, You know you were wrong, causing Little Nine to immediately kneel and beg forgiveness, only for Lu Zhou to clarify that he was referring to the theft of ancient cultivation manuals from two major sects at the end of last year. When questioned, Suanor admitted his mistake and explained that fourth senior brother had claimed only those who made it onto the sinister list were worthy disciples, prompting him to act. At the mention of the sinister list, Lu Zhou's expression shifted slightly, for there was no trace of it in his memories, and Suanor hurriedly explained that it was a ranking of cultivators who had committed countless evils, with Lu Zhou ranked first, and the senior brothers and sisters all within the top 30, leaving Lu Zhou speechless before he finally sighed and told Yuan'er to rise, declaring that he was the disciple he cherished most and forbidding him from committing further evil deeds. Overjoyed, Yuan'er leapt up and moved behind Lu Zhou to massage his shoulders, while soon after Lu Zhou summoned the remaining 3 evildoers, their loyalty values rising slightly yet remaining dangerously low, such that even the slightest change, they would revert just like grass clinging to a wall, bending with the wind. The 5th disciple, Zhao Yu, was the first to break down and beg for mercy, claiming it was merely a moment of confusion and pleading for the master's forgiveness. Seeing her take the lead, Duan Musheng and Ming Shirin quickly followed, emphasizing that they had served the sect for 100 years, and that even without merit, their diligence alone should earn them mercy. Lu Zhou stood with his hands behind his back, not even sparing them a glance, and after a long silence finally asked about their rankings on the sinister list. Duan Musheng ranked 18th, Ming Shirin 25th, and Zhao Yu 28th, prompting Lu Zhou to sneer inwardly at what a fine group of disciples they were, shamelessly tarnishing his reputation, which made the 3 tremble and hastily admit their mistakes. Abruptly changing the subject, Lu Zhou asked whether, now that they knew they were wrong, they were willing to change and never commit evil again. Though they didn't truly understand his meaning, they still answered obediently in unison. Stroking his beard, Lu Zhou sighed and admitted that he too had erred, teaching them cultivation but never teaching them how to be good people, and that it was his failure that had produced such rebellious evildoers. Turning to Old Four, he declared that since the barrier of Jingting Mountain had been broken, his punishment would be to repair it without taking a single step away, a task that might take 8 to 10 years. Though arduous, it was far better than death, and both disciples eagerly accepted. As for Zhao Yu, Lu Zhou decreed that her punishment would be to leave the mountain and atone for her sins. She knelt silently, daring not to argue, though she didn't even know which sins she was meant to atone for. Lu Zhou then asked them what they believed to be good and evil. Yuan'er answered that benefiting others was good and harming others evil. Old Four claimed doing good deeds and accumulating virtue was good while killing and arson were evil. And another added that serving the country and the people was good while assisting in cruelty was evil. Yet Lu Zhou shook his head, finding their answers hollow and hypocritical, before solemnly declaring that while perfection might be unattainable, one must at least have a clear conscience. This left the 4 utterly confused, recalling how only a month earlier their master had said anyone who displeased him should be killed without hesitation, misunderstanding completely. Zhao Yu eagerly vowed they would kill anyone who insulted him, twisting Lu Zhou's beard with rage as he felt like he was speaking to a brick wall, though he knew changing their mindset would take time. In the end, he ordered Zhao Yu to stay and help repair the barrier as well, promising that their past deeds would not be pursued but warning that any future transgression would be punished severely, while also declaring that since they had entered Jingting Mountain as his disciples, he would protect them. Overwhelmed, the 4 expressed heartfelt gratitude as their loyalty surged noticeably. Satisfied with this balance of authority and mercy, Lu Zhou dismissed them, and once their figures vanished, he finally exhaled in relief and opened the system panel, which displayed a reward of 200 merit points for completing the task. Points that could be used for lottery draws at 50% per draw or exchanged in the marketplace for items, weapons, and techniques, even powerful Dharma bodies. Though the prices were absurdly high, with the cheapest beginner Dharma body costing 300 points. Left with no choice, he tried the lottery and unexpectedly won a reversal card, delighting him with the high success rate, and he resolved to save the remaining points to eventually purchase a Dharma body, as improving his cultivation realm was now his top priority. Moments later, the panel issued a new task reminder to discipline the 8th disciple, Zhu Honghong, and change the current situation, causing Lu Zhou to fall into deep thought, realizing he could no longer casually rely on peak experience cards, and that his current cultivation was more a liability than an advantage, with the 3 evildoers still by his side, and the truth bound to surface eventually. Currently, only Yuan'er remained truly reliable and loyal. Her cultivation had already reached the Divine Court realm, making her the most suitable companion at present, and accompanying him would also provide an opportunity to guide her toward becoming a good person, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, especially since he still had a reversal card left to use before making any irreversible decisions. With that thought, Lu Zhou returned to the Evil Sky Pavilion, while at the headquarters of the Tiger Ridge Gang. The scout sent to investigate Jingting Mountain hurried back to report that he had only seen a single Dharma body. Upon hearing this, the fierce-looking Zhu Honghong anxiously demanded what it looked like. and when told that it was 10 feet tall, 2 feet wide, bathed in golden light with an 8-petal golden lotus beneath it, his face instantly turned ashen as he fell from his seat, legs trembling as he muttered in despair that it truly was the master and that they were finished. Back at the Evil Sky Pavilion, which sat atop the mountain and served as residence of Ji Tiandao and his disciples, Lu Zhou used the reversal card, restoring his remaining lifespan to 613 days and making him appear noticeably younger, though he was left with only 150 merit points, an embarrassingly small amount. Rather than cultivating Ji Tiandao's original techniques, he decided to exchange for new ones from the system, believing that a person's tendency toward good or evil was not merely a matter of character but was also deeply tied to the techniques they practiced. As he pondered this, Sayuanur requested an audience, and, after entering with permission, remarked smoothly that he looked younger, prompting Lu Zhou to raise a hand and gently pat her head, only for her to blink brightly and shower him with praise, marveling that he alone had forced back the 10 top experts, and recalling his past claim that with sufficient strength, one could kill anyone, before asking why he hadn't killed her senior brothers and sisters. Startled by the dangerous thoughts hidden in her words, Lu Zhou told her solemnly to forget everything he had taught her in the past, to forget it completely. And when she hesitantly agreed and asked whether she should also forget the promise he had made to her, Lu Zhou was briefly stunned, having lost many memories after transmigrating into this body, until she reminded him that he had promised her the jade horsetail whisk upon her reaching the Divine Court realm, a heavenly ranked treasure that greatly enhanced cultivation power. Though he didn't recall the promise, he knew the treasure's value, yet all of Ji Tiandao's belongings had vanished upon his transmigration, leaving him no choice but to reply stiffly that she should forget about it. Seeing her disappointment, he quickly shifted the topic and promised to bestow another heavenly ranked treasure in the future, instantly restoring her joy. Following his instructions, Sayuanur then went to deal with the righteous sect members lurking near Jingting Mountain, and about 10 minutes later, Lu Zhou began hearing system notifications, each kill of an evildoer, granting him 10 merit points, a discovery that delighted him, as he realized that disciples completing tasks could also earn merit points for their master. Within half an hour, his total reached 300, allowing him to purchase the apprentice-ranked Taiji avatar. And the moment the exchange was completed, a surge of energy flooded his body, advancing his realm from the tempered body realm to the mystic enlightenment realm. Once the energy settled, he frowned at the panel, noting that the next realm required a staggering 1,000 merit points, an outrageous demand, and as Sayuanur finished cleaning up outside, and the merit points stopped increasing, Lu Zhou rose slowly, intending to stretch his stiff muscles, only for a sword-like streak of lightning to suddenly stab toward his back. Reacting instantly, he turned to see Zhou Jifeng, a senior disciple of the Heavenly Sword Sect, whose attack was completely nullified by Lu Zhou's passive skill, Fatal Block. Zhou Jifeng froze in disbelief upon seeing Lu Zhou unharmed, then gritted his teeth and attacked again, only to fail once more, while Lu Zhou frowned deeply and stared at him in silence, the pressure in his gaze mounting. Then Lu Zhou spoke coldly. "What the hell are you trying to do?" On the surface he appeared calm, but inwardly he was on edge, knowing he could not afford to lose momentum even for a moment. Under the terrifying pressure radiating from him, Zhou Jifeng was so frightened he was nearly paralyzed. Lu Zhou snorted. "You overestimate yourself." Zhou Jifeng hesitated briefly before gritting his teeth and charging again. "You killed my master. Even if I die, I will have my revenge." Just as the longsword was less than a hair's breadth from its target, an enraged shout erupted from behind. "Who dares to sneak attack my master?" And with a deafening bang, Sayuanur struck, sending Zhou Jifeng crashing into a distant wall. "Master, let me tear him apart to vent your anger," she said coldly, killing intent flashing in her eyes. But Lu Zhou raised a hand to stop her as a system notification rang out, triggering a hidden branch quest. "Turn Zhou Jifeng to your side." After a brief pause, Lu Zhou said slowly, "If I killed your master, it's reasonable for you to seek revenge. But underestimating your own limits is nothing but courting death. It achieves nothing. At 9, you reach the tempered body realm. At 13, the sense-condensing realm. At 18, the Brahma Sea realm. And at 20, the Divine Court realm. You are a once-in-a-generation genius. You could have waited a few more years. Why rush to die now?" Regret flickered across Zhou Jifeng's face, while Si Yuan'er scoffed disdainfully and began to boast of her own achievements, only to be silenced by Lu Zhou's stern glare. Turning back to Zhou Jifeng, Lu Zhou asked calmly, "Do you know why I didn't kill you? Did you truly believe Luo Changfeng was an upright man?" When Zhou Jifeng bristled, Lu Zhou continued evenly, "I knew Luo Changfeng before you were born. If I told you that your father's true killer was Luo Changfeng, would you believe it?" Zhou Jifeng roared in denial, accusing him of sowing discord, but Lu Zhou merely shook his head and recounted how years ago, in Yi Province, he encountered the Jiang family, whose newborn son possessed extraordinary talent, how he intended to take the child as a disciple, only to find the entire family slaughtered the next day. A crime the cultivation world later pinned on him, though the true culprit was Luo Changfeng. "You have a birthmark on your shoulder," Lu Zhou said flatly. "When you were born, your body was cold and damp. Your surname is Jiang. You are the son of that family." Zhou Jifeng froze. Almost no one knew of the birthmark, and Lu Zhou concluded, "You're still too young to bear the full truth. Leave. If you doubt me, ask your master, if he were still alive." When Zhou Jifeng cursed him again, Si Yuan'er's expression turned icy, and she threatened him into silence, prompting Lu Zhou to chuckle softly. "Your master destroyed the Jiang family, disgraced your mother, and took you away. 30 years ago, he broke through the nascent divinity realm. In the Dao fusing stage, one can devour another's cultivation and fuse it as one. And in the entire heavenly sword sect, only your cultivation path matched his exactly. Think carefully." With that, Lu Zhou waved his hand. "Send him away." Si Yuan'er hesitated, protesting that Zhou Jifeng had attacked him, but a sharp reprimand from Lu Zhou made her fall silent. Si Yuan'er stamped her foot in frustration, after which she dragged the still dazed Zhou Jifeng toward the window and sneered, calling him a foolish pig and asking whether her master really needed to lie to deceive someone like him, adding that it would be better to kill him outright. With that, she tossed him from the upper floor down to the ground, while Zhou Jifeng instinctively muttered, "I don't believe it," as a system prompt immediately sounded. Mission failed. Persuasion of Zhou Jifeng unsuccessful, causing Lu Zhou to sigh helplessly and curse inwardly at his stupidity. Seeing his reaction, Si Yuan'er asked in confusion why he hadn't killed the man, and Lu Zhou rose with his hands clasped behind his back, calmly explaining that killing was not the only way to solve problems, when she pointed out that he had just ordered her to kill orthodox cultivators down the mountain. He stroked his beard and replied evenly that while killing was not the only solution, it was always one of the options. Before he could say more, another system prompt appeared, informing him that his disciple had committed evil deeds and that his merit points were being deducted, which made Lu Zhou exclaim in disbelief. Merit points could be deducted too, and immediately summoned several disciples. Once they gathered, he frowned and demanded an explanation, prompting Ming Shiren to nervously claim they had only been patrolling near Jingting Mountain as instructed, but Lu Zhou calmly reminded them that he hated lies above all else, causing Ming Shiren's face to pale as he hurriedly confessed that some hunters had entered the southern area of the mountain and that he had intended to kill them all. Lu Zhou stopped him sharply, pointing out that the mountain's barrier had yet to be repaired and that it was normal for people to wander in by mistake, ordering them instead to drive such people away and only take action against those with malicious intent. The disciples bowed and accepted his command, then exchanged glances before leaving the Evil Sky Pavilion, still unaccustomed to such restraint, but unwilling to disobey after learning from past mistakes, suspecting that their master was experimenting with a new approach. Not long after, as Lu Zhou suddenly heard the system's voice, he had saved 5 innocent lives and was rewarded with 150 merit points. He had received worship from 14 individuals for another 14 merit points, and devout worship from one person for 10 more, followed by a prompt explaining that devout worship granted a 10-fold bonus. Lu Zhou immediately opened his eyes in surprise, thinking that this could actually be exploited and wondering why the system had not informed him earlier, then ordered his disciple to go inform the others that innocent people must be treated well. Soon, dawn arrived, and the scene shifted to the headquarters of the Tiger Ridge Gang, where a subordinate hurriedly reported that a reply had arrived from Yanyu Palace, causing Zhu Honghong, who was bathing, to brighten as he eagerly asked about its contents. only to be told that the palace master of the derived Moon Palace believed the old monster of Jinting Mountain had fully recovered his cultivation after killing Luo Changfeng in one move, and therefore could not offer assistance, advising Zhu Honghong, whose strength was the weakest, to hide well, which caused him to slip and fall in shock. At the same time, Lu Zhou received a system prompt stating educating Zhu Honghong and awarding 50 merit points, leaving him confused since he felt he had done nothing. And although he had accumulated just over 200 merit points in recent days, it was still insignificant compared to items costing thousands. So he decided to try the lottery, spending 50 merit points and unexpectedly drawing a white sard, a rare and permanent god-beast mount, which left him thrilled as he admired the creature he had tamed in a single draw, lamenting that although Ji Tiantao had once lived for 1,000 years and possessed countless treasures, he himself was now poor and empty-handed, knowing that while others relied on flying chariots or sword flight techniques, nothing compared to a true mount, one that in modern terms would be like the most luxurious car, since the stronger the beast, the greater the cultivator's prestige. With a thought, Lu Zhou dismissed Whitesard in a flash, the powerful fluctuation stirring unease among nearby evildoers, who silently agreed to pretend they had seen nothing. After which Lu Zhou drew 3 more times only to receive repeated "thank you for your patronage" messages, making him shake his head helplessly yet accept that the gains were already worthwhile. Meanwhile, at the foot of Jinting Mountain, 3 men on horseback appeared, one sighing that he hoped the old devil would help their clan survive the coming disaster for Yuanor's sake. And as they entered the forest, a voice rang out demanding to know who dared trespass, causing them to kneel and identify themselves as members of the CI family from Anyang, upon which Ming Shirin arrived from afar, and, after Duan Mushing reminded him that the CI family was Junior Sister's clan, decided to follow their master's new gentle approach, stepping forward with a forced smile to help them up, though his friendliness only terrified them further, and their refusal instantly darkened his expression as he ordered them escorted up the mountain to await punishment. Shortly after, Lu Zhou received the report that the CI family sought an audience, calmly allowed them in, and soon found the 3 men kneeling and trembling before him as he glanced down and spoke evenly, stating that he had established a rule. Once someone entered Evil Sky Pavilion, Lu Zhou continued calmly, stating that once someone entered Evil Sky Pavilion, their family and friends were no longer allowed to maintain contact, then turned to Si Yuan'er and asked if she remembered this rule, prompting her to immediately reply that she would send them away at once. At that moment, the steward of the SI family suddenly looked up at her and broke down in tears, calling her miss and identifying himself as Si Yuan, saying he had finally found her, and that the master and madam were in grave trouble, which caused Si Yuan'er to freeze in surprise, since she had left home at the age of 10 and 5 years had passed, leaving her memories vague, while Duan Mushing and Zhao Yu reacted sharply and angrily rebuked him for daring to cry in such a place, saying that if he were not a relative, his mouth would already have been sewn shut. Yet Si Yuan'er, worried for her family, fell to the ground and pleaded with her master. Ming Shirin's eyes flickered as he stepped forward respectfully and argued that rules were made by people, that Junior Sister's family was also their family, and that ignoring them in their time of need would make them worse than beasts, a sentiment Duan Mushing and Zhao Yu echoed by bowing in agreement, leading Lu Zhou to nod slightly and acknowledge that there was some truth in those words, though Evil Sky Pavilion could not interfere in every affair, which Ming Shirin immediately seized upon, praising Lu Zhou as an unrivaled powerhouse who need not concern himself with trivial matters. Earning eye rolls from the other 2 at his blatant flattery, Si Yuan'er then signaled to the steward, who hesitated briefly before hurriedly explaining that the SI family had always conducted honest trade in Anyang City. But a month earlier their caravan had been robbed by mounted brigands in a river valley, and despite paying money to avoid trouble, the bandits later attacked Anyang, seized all their assets, and kidnapped over 100 people, with the authorities refusing to help out of fear because the brigands were rumored to be backed by cultivators, after which everyone instinctively looked to Lu Zhou, knowing that under normal circumstances Evil Sky Pavilion would never involve itself, though this case concerned Junior Sister's family. Before Lu Zhou spoke, Ming Shirin stepped forward again and asked to atone for his past misdeeds by doing good, insisting that as a senior brother he could not stand by while his Junior Sister's family suffered, and requesting permission to help despite his punishment, a shamelessness that left the others speechless. But after brief consideration, Lu Zhou agreed, saying the matter should have been handled by Xiao Yuan herself, though she was young and impulsive. and since Ming Shirin was willing, he would entrust it to him for 3 days, prompting Ming Shirin to swear not to disappoint, before turning into a streak of light and departing, while Lu Zhou instructed Xiao Yuan to accompany the family down the mountain, and reassured her that although her 4th senior brother was fond of the outside world, he was thoughtful and decisive, and would likely resolve the issue within a day. Afterward, Lu Zhou summoned Xiao Yu and ordered her to spend 2 days investigating the Heavenly Sword sect, especially Zhou Jifeng, which she accepted eagerly, leaving Lu Zhou satisfied with his arrangements as he reflected that Zhou Jifeng still needed to be closely watched, especially after the assassination attempt that had led his 3rd and 9th disciples to guard the pavilion like door gods, a lapse that had allowed minor enemies to infiltrate Jingting Mountain. Xiao Yuan then asked anxiously whether the 4th senior brother would truly be fine, to which Duan Muxing replied that although Old 4 was playful and sometimes unreliable, he never held back when it came to missions, and that there would be consequences if he failed, prompting Si Yuanor to murmur that it would be better if 7th senior brother were here, a remark Duan Muxing immediately rebuked, reminding her that traitors to the sect were unforgivable criminals who must be confronted head-on. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou shook his head to indicate it was fine, explaining that although 7th senior brother was indeed a rare talent skilled in schemes, he enjoyed manipulating people's hearts too much, and was prone to becoming trapped by his own thoughts. When suddenly a transmission bird sent by a senior sister flew over. These transmission birds were no ordinary creatures, but spirit-nurtured mutants of Jingting Mountain that had grown into fierce beasts of the great Yan world, and under Lu Zhou's instruction, Si Yuanor flew up to retrieve the letter and read it aloud, reporting that after the top 10 sects besieged Golden Court Mountain and Luo Changfeng's death, the Heavenly Sword sect had fallen into chaos with factions fighting for leadership, that Zhou Jifeng had failed to become sect leader upon his return, that the former leader Luo Xingkong had suddenly entered seclusion and might be attempting to break through to the Dao fusing stage of the nascent divinity tribulation realm, and that Zhou Yifeng had shown signs of disloyalty during her night surveillance. After listening, Lu Zhou calmly remarked that the progress was a bit slow and ordered that Zhao Yu be informed to assist if necessary, which puzzled Duan Muxing, who questioned why they should help their archenemy, though Lu Zhou did not answer since their loyalty had not yet reached a safe threshold, causing Duan Muxing to awkwardly fall silent. At that moment, the system issued a prompt announcing that Ming Shirin had completed his task, rescuing 105 members of the SI family and earning 1,050 merit points, along with their worship for another 1,050 points, as well as slaying 82 mounted brigands for 820 merit points, which immediately brightened Lu Zhou's eyes at the unexpectedly huge gain, followed by another letter from Ming Shirin reporting the successful rescue and extermination, while casually mentioning that the cultivators backing the brigands might be connected to Old 8's Tiger Ridge gang, and that he would investigate further. An excuse Lu Zhou easily saw through but chose to ignore due to his good mood, simply instructing Old 4 to look into it before returning to his residence. There, he eagerly spent 1,000 merit points to purchase the 2 transformed powers avatar, feeling a massive surge of energy flood his body as his cultivation rapidly soared, after which he nodded in satisfaction. Then bought 2 reversal cards as green spiritual vortices appeared above Evil Sky Pavilion, and extended his lifespan by 600 days. Though his attempt to use the remaining points on the lottery ended in 5 consecutive thank you for your patronage results that killed his interest, leaving him resigned to staying temporarily on Jingting Mountain, since leaving with his current strength would be unsafe, especially as long as these evildoers remained to protect him. After considering his situation, he summoned Si Yuanor and instructed her to bring the 4 treasures of the study, and she promptly complied by preparing everything and carefully grinding ink at his side, while Lu Zhou wrote the names of his 9 disciples on white paper one by one, and pondered deeply, realizing that even the youngest was already at the divine court realm, and wondering what realm the eldest disciple had reached, whether he surpassed Jitian Dao, how such savage, wolf-like disciples could have allowed an old monster like Jitian Dao to survive in this world, whether Jitian Dao had hidden trump cards when teaching them, and what life-saving measures he had left behind, memories of which were frustratingly missing, until his thoughts were interrupted by Si Yuanor tugging his hand and remarking that he had taken only 9 disciples, and that with his ability he could open Evil Sky Pavilion and Jinting Court Mountain to accept tens of thousands more. With so many disciples, no one would dare disobey you, Si Yuanor continued excitedly, saying that the orthodox sects would no longer dare provoke them, and that with a single command from him, Countless disciples could wipe out anyone who refused to submit, declaring confidently that those who obey would prosper, while those who resisted would perish. Upon hearing these words, Lu Zhou's pupils suddenly lit up as a realization struck him. So that was how it was, prompting him to pick up the paper again and study it carefully. Where the line "the bright moon shines over the sea from far away, we share this moment together" came to mind. And he realized that although the poem contained the names of all 9 disciples, there was still one character missing, the final crucial one. If Ji Tiandao had truly chosen disciples based on this poem, then the criteria had never been talent, but their names instead. Yet what Lu Zhou could not understand was how Ji Tiandao could have known a poem that originated from his own world, leading him to a chilling thought. Could it be that Ji Tiandao, like himself, was also a transmigrator? My master is an unforgivable old demon, and every time wicked thoughts of leaving the sect arise in my heart, I inevitably succumb to his tyrannical power. But now I can finally leave the mountain to carry out a mission, and this time I must enjoy myself thoroughly before returning. The 4th disciple, Ming Shirin, swiftly flew over the town below, his arrival causing the townspeople to cry out in astonishment. Having finally left Jingting Mountain, he originally intended to descend and indulge himself, yet remembering that Master now preferred new methods and disliked the old ways, he reluctantly abandoned that idea. In that case, he thought, I'll be a good person for once, and reward you ants with treasures plundered from bandits. With this in mind, he opened his backpack and scattered its contents toward the town, and as gold and silver rained from the sky, the people hurriedly dodged at first. But once they recognized the valuables, they immediately fell to their knees and kowtowed repeatedly. At that very moment, Lu Zhou received a system notification that 35 people had devoutly worshipped him, earning him 350 merit points, which delighted him greatly. Soon after, Ming Shirin arrived at the territory of the Tiger Ridge gang and called out, "Old 8, I've come to see you," before leaping lightly toward the mountains and forests. Inside the village, a subordinate reported that a cultivator sought an audience, and Zhu Honghong, who had finally fallen into rare, peaceful sleep after living in constant fear since learning that Master's cultivation had been restored, irritably ordered them to drive the visitor away, even threatening to castrate and feed him to the fierce beasts. His subordinates hesitated in confusion, but before they could clarify, a hearty laugh echoed from outside, and upon hearing the familiar voice, Zhu Honghong shouted in fright and fell to the ground. Ming Shirin strode in slowly, and seeing it was only 4th senior brother, Zhu Honghong sighed in relief and even attempted to persuade him to stay, claiming Jingting Mountain was no place to live and offering him the position of deputy village chief. Ming Shirin scoffed at the suggestion, mocked the shabby village for not even having a proper gate, and brushed past the trembling subordinates to take the main seat, his brows furrowing as he went straight to the point and questioned whether Zhu Honghong had been involved in the kidnapping and extortion of the Anyang City SI family. Zhu Honghong hurriedly denied it, arguing that the SI family were their junior sister's relatives and that even he would not stoop so low, but Ming Shirin calmly replied that he had already killed all the bandits, and that one accomplice had mentioned the Tiger Ridge gang before dying, asking whether he was falsely accusing him. Zhu Honghong frowned and reasoned that since establishing the Tiger Ridge gang they had offended many cultivators and might be framed. Yet Ming Shirin remained indifferent and declared that he would bring him back to see Master. At the mere mention of Master, Zhu Honghong broke into a cold sweat and slumped down, suggesting they overlook the matter since Master was injured and hinting that Ming Shirin would eventually leave Jingting Mountain anyway. But Ming Shirin exploded in anger, denouncing him as a traitor who dishonored Master and their ancestors, ordering him to kneel, and warning that Master had recently defeated the top 10 nascent divinity tribulation experts of the cultivation world, proving that his cultivation had not regressed, but grown even more profound. Trembling uncontrollably, Zhu Honghong produced a letter from 7th senior brother stating that Master's cultivation had long been at the perfected stage of the nascent divinity realm, that he had attempted to break through to a higher realm 200 years ago, but failed, and that witnesses had seen him wounded when ambushed by the top 10 experts, raising the lingering question of how Master had suddenly recovered his cultivation base. Upon hearing this, Ming Shirin furrowed his brows suspiciously and asked whether 7th senior brother meant that Master had relied on some kind of secret medicine. Zhu Honghong nodded and replied that both of them understood eldest senior brother's cultivation level, which was not inferior to Master's. And yet after all these years, eldest senior brother had never made a move against Master. Why was that? Ming Shireen tossed the letter aside and said coldly that no one knew how many killing moves Master still had hidden, but regardless of how many tricks he possessed, he could not surpass the limits of lifespan and would die sooner or later. Slightly startled, Ming Shireen narrowed his eyes and questioned. Old 8, 7th senior brother, didn't write those words in the letter. Who told you that? Did you figure it out with your pig brain? Or was it 6th junior sister or 2nd senior brother? Chu Honghong innocently insisted it was merely his own speculation. Ming Shireen waved it off, saying that if he did not wish to speak further, so be it. But despite having considered the contents of the letter, he was different. He still respected and followed Master's teachings. He added that Master was currently in seclusion on the mountain and likely would not descend anytime soon, so Zhu Honghong should obediently remain at Tiger Ridge Gang and avoid causing trouble. Fortunate that Master had not ordered him killed. Overjoyed, Zhu Honghong hurriedly bowed in thanks. Ming Shireen further instructed him to thoroughly investigate the matter of the bandits so he could report back, then left behind a fleeting afterimage and vanished in the blink of an eye. After his departure, Zhu Honghong trembled uncontrollably, his legs shaking as subordinates anxiously asked what was wrong. Forcing himself to stay composed, he reassured them it was nothing. Yet the image of 7th senior brother surfaced in his mind, bringing a sense of relief. That was close, he thought. 7th senior brother was right. Master's body had indeed declined with age. His meridians were worn. His Dantian and Sea of Chi lacked vitality, and gathering energy had become exceedingly difficult. In other words, the techniques in Master's possession were better suited for disciples rather than himself. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou shook his head helplessly. This old body truly felt uncomfortable. He needed to accumulate vitality first, yet with only 1,000 merit points, the amount was far too small. At the current rate of accumulation, rejuvenation would be difficult, though killing the bandits earlier and receiving the people's worship had yielded substantial merit rewards. With these thoughts, an idea struck him. He immediately summoned Xia Yuanor and asked whether there was any recent news from the outside world. She replied that she had remained on Jingting Mountain and knew nothing of worldly affairs. Lu Zhou calmly explained that in Tanzi, the town nearest Jingting Court Mountain, there was a station where cultivators frequently stopped to rest and exchange information, even selling news for payment, and she could go there to inquire. Hearing she was permitted to leave the mountain, Xia Yuanor became visibly delighted and bowed to confirm. Lu Zhou teasingly asked whether she felt oppressed staying on the mountain, to which she hurriedly denied, saying she was merely bored from not going out for so long. He then ordered her to go, warning her not to reveal her identity casually and not to kill indiscriminately. When she asked what to do if bullied, he lightly patted her head, confident no one would dare oppress his disciple, and told her that if others did not provoke her, she should not provoke them, but if they did, she must retaliate decisively. Acknowledging his command, Xia Yuanor leaped into the air and flew away. Watching her graceful departure, Lu Zhou felt a tinge of envy, wondering when he himself could move so freely. As he pondered, Duan Mushing arrived to report that 3 formations had been repaired, though 5 remained, and at this pace he could not complete them alone. Lu Zhou knew this well. Although he had once intended for the 3 of them to repair the formations together, the arrays consumed immense energy, and even Duan Mushing's high cultivation could not endure their constant drain. Still, complaints about repairing the formations could not be tolerated, and Lu Zhou could not afford to appear weak. With that in mind, he spoke coldly. If it can't be repaired in 1 year, then take 2. If it can't be done in 2 years, then take 3. If anyone dares object, I will show no mercy. Hearing these cold words, Duan Mushing broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly replied, "Disciple understands. Disciple will continue repairing the formations." With that, he withdrew at once, leaving Lu Zhou alone. Lu Zhou reopened the system panel and initiated the lottery, but to his irritation, after 10 consecutive draws, all he received were "thank you for your patronage." His face darkened as he cursed the system for being a scam. Left with only a few merit points, he used the remaining 4 to purchase a reversal card. With nothing else to do and trapped in this aging body, he felt he could only lie there waiting for death. Unlike his previous life where he could at least stroll through the park, play chess, cards, or walk a dog. Just then, a string of system notifications rang out. Completion of Zhou Jifeng's defection mission rewarded 200 merit points. Zhou Jifeng's hostility reset to 0. Loyalty increased by 10%. Killing 2 elders rewarded another 200 merit points. Lu Zhou's eyes lit up as he praised Zhao Yu inwardly for a job well done. While he was still pleased, Ming Yin floated up from below the mountain and reported respectfully, "Disciple has completed the mission against all odds and has returned to report." Lu Zhou glanced at him, and his brows subtly furrowed. Ming Yin's loyalty had dropped to 58 points. Please subscribe to help me provide you with more recaps.